Hi everyone, I'm Lauren from the Workers' Party in Birmingham, and we're out in Centenary Square today to support the Let Women Speak rally, which is being held by the Standing for Women group led by Posey Parker, I believe real name Kelly Jane King. You might see or hear in the background that there is a counter demo of trans supporters who are calling Posey a fascist for standing up for women's rights. We've seen over the last few years, there's a lot of demand for trans people to be able to self-identify, men identifying as women, being able to access women's prisons, use women's change rooms, even compete in women's sports. So women are out in force today to oppose self-ID and really just hold on to a glimmer of reality and that women exist and women are adult human females.
We came to Birmingham as the centre of the country because West Midlands Police are Stonewall champions. And West Midlands Police, in every stage of this organising this event, have not taken the women in Birmingham's safety very seriously at all. So that's why they're not really here. So let me just say to the Police and Crimes Commissioner of the West Midlands Police, next election, sunshine, we're going to have a woman from the Party of Women standing against you. And we will say bye-bye to trans flags. Bye-bye to the progressive pride flag, which, let's face it, hasn't stood for lesbians for about 2 decades. But anyway, how we normally like to start this is we like to say, what a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in, why it's almost like being a... And what we also like to say, because it really annoys them, and in fact it also annoys women who are trying to straddle this very spiky fence. No woman has a penis! No man has a vagina! There is no such thing as non-binary! And transitioning children is profound abuse. This amazing city, where your second most spoken language is Urdu and then Hindi, I just want to say there is not a single woman who wears a hijab who wants to go in a female-only space with any man in it. Trans activism that wants men in those women's spaces are Islamophobic, one might say. Ask any Muslim man, do you want a man sitting on the same side as your wife in a mosque? No, they don't. Now, we've come to speak out in the open because normally we have an effective police force to enable us to do it. And I want to just say the reason we have to have these meetings is because when we try and gather, no matter how respectful and polite, our bookings are cancelled, they hammer upon the doors, and they will not let us speak. So this is our streets! And we have the right in a democratic society, but the right to free speech includes the right to be heard. And at the moment, we are not able to exercise our right to free speech because they're making too much sound and disruption. And really, any police force worth its salt should be telling them to move back. And can I just say, those women that stand here will pitchforks against us, as that lovely woman in Melbourne says. Be wary when they turn upon you, because they will. You may think you're a trans ally, and you're either a Munchausen's by proxy parent who's transitioning your child, or you're just an idiot who is on her bended knee, begging to be saved by these men. And when they turn on you, we will accept you into our fold and we will stand for your rights, but we will remember how you tried to give our rights away. So, let women speak.
My daughter presented with rapid onset gender dysphoria at 13. It's real! I love her. I know her. My daughter is autistic. It's been a long road with bumps. She cut her hair, it's just hair. She changed how she dressed, it's just clothes. I let her be. The school in Cams changed her name and pronouns behind my back as I stood on the sidelines dumbfounded, but never affirming. I just let her be. Contrary to what these fools would make you believe, my daughter is alive. My daughter is thriving. My daughter does not live in fear for her life. My daughter has desisted. There is hope!
I don't know whether any of you have been following a story on Twitter about a school in Warsaw Academy. Well, as you know, they instigated a block of unisex toilets without consulting parents en masse. There were plans to roll it out to all toilets until parents found out what was going on. They set up a Facebook group. They got the local MP involved. They met with the head of the school and the head of safeguarding, and it is not going to be rolled out. So I'd just like to say, if people know what's going on and they find out, they're not standing for it, parents won't have it. And we found out there are other schools in Warsaw that are doing exactly the same thing. So I'd like to say to those parents, we managed to do it in Warsaw Academy. You can too. Thank you.
So this is a message to every woman standing on that side of the divide. Can't you just be kind? It's rhetoric that women have been subjected to throughout history. Thanks to women who were not kind. You have the right to vote. You have the right to not be raped by your husband. You have the right to be off work when you give birth. The right to have your own bank account and credit cards. The right to be in prison with women only. Except seems not anymore. So no, we should not be more kind when the foremothers fought long and hard for the right of women to not be prejudiced against because of our sex, not our gender. I will not kindly sit by when males who claim to be actual women become more oppressed than I am.
You're passing through, people of Birmingham. You must know, because surely you've checked, they're trying to transition your kids at school. They're telling your children that it's possible to change sex. Your politicians are silent when it comes to standing up for your children and the right to their sex-based rights in schools. Jess Phillips, where are you, love? What happened to your big, bold mouth? You can sit on a bench with Jacob Rees-Mogg, but you can't come to a women's rights meeting in your own city. Jess Phillips, let me just tell you, I think you're a fucking coward. I can just about take it that men pretend to be morons who think we are just dickless men. But when women who have traded upon this bravery, this outspoken courage, this pretend working class accent of hers, when she does that, and then when it comes to real risk, that she shuts up, that she reads a man's name, when she talks about the femicide census, I really do not forgive that. She needs ousting in the next election, and I'd like one of you women here to stand against her.
When I was 11, a predatory man tried to feel my breasts while I was taking the dog for a walk. When I was 40, a man stalked me on the way to and from work. I know all about predatory men, including the one that tried to feel me up at work. I was told, oh well, that's just the way he is. He's always been like that. So yeah, I know predatory men, and I also know good men. I'm married to one. My son's a good man. My son-in-law's a good man. And they all support what we're doing. What I want to say to you is, while ever we know that these predatory men are out there, we mustn't ask for our own safe spaces. We mustn't ask to be kept separate from men. We must demand it. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
And I've been a midwife for over 10 years. I peaked when I started seeing the words birthing person and chest feeding popping up everywhere. After reading about the terrible, vicious bullying of Millie Hill, who dared to question the term birthing person, I decided to join Twitter. And that was quite the education. For those that don't know, the word midwife is derived from mid, which means with, and wife, which means woman. Our whole identity is with woman. The whole focus of my training career until very recently has been woman-centered care. Now woman is a dirty word which must not be uttered. We are not walking microwaves. There is more to being pregnant than just pushing out babies. We are not birthing people. We are women and we are mothers. Some women do not get the joy of giving birth to their babies. What do we call the women that lose their babies and don't get to birth them? What word is there for them? It's also dehumanizing. Those of us that stand here know the real reason we are called birthing people, uterus havers and people with cervixes. It's not to be kind or inclusive, it's because the goal is to divorce the word woman from our bodies and our reproductive capabilities so men can further lay claim to womanhood. They want to change the real meaning of female so they can claim it for themselves. Being female to them is just dresses and makeup. Nobody is asking what a man is. Nobody is erasing the word man from literature. The misogyny is glaring. When you allow men to lay claim to the word woman, and when you say anyone can give birth, including men, you open up the floodgates to depravity. Men have been infiltrating pregnancy loss groups, breastfeeding groups, simulating pregnancies for their sexual gratification, simulating stillbirth for their own sexual gratification. They have even been audacious enough to document how they are chemically inducing lactation to feed their newborn babies from their nipples. Mr. Buckley, you belong in prison in Australia, and the Australian Breastfeeding Association belong there too for supporting this. Nobody knows what's in their nipple discharge. They cannot produce colostrum or antibodies. A mother's milk adapts to the needs of the baby. There is no benefit to the baby, only harm. I cannot stress this enough, it is child abuse. No man should take a baby from the mother and feed it from their chest for their own gratification. Motherhood and pregnancy is a joyful and sometimes tragic experience. Men have no claim to the word mother, it is ours. They do not birth children, they do not grow them in their stomachs, they certainly should not breastfeed them. I just want to finish by talking to my fellow midwives, the ones that keep keep using the term birthing person. You are not being kind. Please be brave enough to stand up and say no to this nonsense. The majority of us do not agree with this. None of my colleagues agree with this crap. But the vocal minority are making us look stupid. Be brave and be strong, and don't be afraid to say no to birthing people. Not all women give birth, but only women can give birth.